Dan Forrester is a former military man. However, he now lives a calm and measured life, working as a school teacher and enjoying life in a picturesque suburb with his wife Amy and beautiful daughter Marie. Their family is truly happy and there are no signs of trouble. However, everything is changing. During the World Cup, military men from the future appear and report that humanity is on the brink of disaster. They report that they've arrived from the future, from 2051, when humanity is fighting and gradually losing a war against an alien invasion that began in 2048. To win the war, future scientists have developed technology that allows them to travel through time. He proposed to call upon soldiers from the past to participate in the war of the future. Call begins on Earth, and only those who, in the normal course of events, should have died before 2051 are sent to the future. Each conscript spends a week in the future, after which he returns if he remains alive, while on average only 30 of soldiers from the past return back. Dan Forrester becomes one of those drafted into the war. His wife suggests that he avoid the draft, which can be done illegally by removing the electronic attachment attached to his hand. This can be done by Dan's father, to whom he comes for the first time in many years. He, once upon a time, a father who suffered from PTSD after the Vietnam War, left his wife and son, and Dan could never forgive him for this. As a result, he quarrels with his father again and goes to the war of the future. After a while, Dan's turn comes. After a short briefing, his group is sent on a mission, but due to a technical error, the landing occurs in the wrong place, on the roof of a house in a dilapidated city, which will soon be bombed. Due to the fact that alien monsters captured Miami Beach and damaged the equipment, the coordinates of the conscripts' jump into the future were shifted, and many died in the fall. To destroy the monsters, people are preparing a carpet bombing of the city, and Dan has to lead people to safety. However, many are killed, and as a result, the soldier from the past is engulfed in an explosion. Only 3 people remain alive and wake up in a hospital in Puerto Plata. Dan meets a young female colonel who is in charge of scientific research to destroy monsters. It turns out to be his daughter Miri, whom he last saw at the age of 9. Miri tells Dan that people will inevitably lose the war since monsters multiply quickly, and the toxin that they managed to develop only affects males. Dorian accompanies Miri on an operation to capture a female monster who is taken to a scientific base in the ocean near the Bahamas. Taking a sample of the female's DNA, Miri spends the night trying to establish a combination suitable for destroying the monsters. Finally, she succeeds, and she asks Dan to return to the past, synthesize the substance there in the required quantities, and prevent monsters from taking over the Earth in the future. Having broken through the fence, the monsters attack the base and destroy people, but Dan manages to return to the past. Dan learns that the system for sending to the future no longer works, so he can no longer return and save his daughter in 2051. He has to synthesize the toxin, and meanwhile, with the help of his wife and 2 fellow soldiers who returned from the war, Dorian and Charlie, he is trying to establish the origin of the monsters. According to Miri in the future, they suddenly appeared in northern Russia, and the landing of an alien ship was not recorded. As a result, Dan comes to the conclusion that the alien ship was under one of the glaciers for centuries, and only after the glacier melted did the monsters break out. Having asked his father to act as a pilot, Dan heads a small detachment to Russia. On the glacier, the group manages to find the ship's landing site and, by blowing up the ice, get inside. They realize that the ship crashed and its crew died, while the monsters remain alive in cocoons as cargo, possibly weapons for colonizing planets. The squad begins to destroy the monsters, but some of them break out and the ship has to be blown up. Only Dan, his father, and Charlie remain alive. One female has escaped and they begin hunting for her. As a result, the female is killed. Future war with monsters is averted. Dan returns home and introduces his daughter Mary to her grandfather, whom she has never met before. If you liked the video, like and subscribe.